Hello all you awesome people out in Facebook land. I have decided to talk to some people that I have met, some beautiful people over the last 2 or 3 years. We have met and got together many times, just questioning things that are going on in the world, and what a journey really. But there's been many people that I've met, and we get together regularly. We just had a catch up this morning. Every 2 weeks we get together at this certain place just down south. And today I have with me a beautiful friend, and she is a soldier. I have called her. I've referred to her for a few times. Like I say, just asking questions about things that don't make sense, and I will hand it over to her. Her name is Sue. Hello, Sue.
Hi Darren.
So, what has brought us together, Sue?
Well, I guess it was the last 3 years, things going on. A lot of people weren't happy with, so we came on that one issue. People were losing their jobs because they didn't want to take a certain procedure, and so we've gradually sort of formed a group of people who initially it was all about, well, what am I going to do and how am I going to feed my family, and but it's evolved from that, and as people have, it's now become more solution focused. What can we do? What there's the possibilities of what we can do, and we're a diverse group. We come from different. We don't agree on everything, but what we do have is a group that can say what they like. They don't. Nobody has to hold back on anything. And over the last 3 years, other issues have come up, and we weren't able to talk about that procedure outside of our group really, and a lot of people felt isolated. A lot of people couldn't visit people, relatives during the what was going on. They were kind of ostracised, but we've sort of changed. Our group's changed quite a bit. People have sort of found new ways of living, and the conversation is actually, I think, a little bit easier now, because one of the first things was cash, for instance. Yes, everybody agreed. If you start talking about cash with anybody, people say, "Oh yes, yeah, well, you must keep cash," and it was easy to open a conversation up. And then there's other issues that we can open up, and we realise that, well, I think we've been divided, and
because we found out, didn't we? We found out that it wasn't just the what they were forcing people to do. It wasn't just the mandates. That was the main focus. We just looked at many things, and it included money.
Yes.
So that's where Sue was leading to with the money.
Right.
And
yes, yeah, yes, I went around the houses to say that, but it's actually people are sort of, I think now, thinking things aren't right, and we've got 15-minute cities, we've got climate change, which people, and the thing is that people are not allowed to talk about things, and that to me seems puts a question on the whole thing if you can't talk about things. And really, at the bottom of it, I think we all want the same thing. So we've kind of been divided, and people who've had to sort of think they have had to take the the procedure, and they've had to take another one and another one, and it's very hard when you've done that. How do you turn around if at some point you think, well, I don't want to take another one? And I think the good thing about our groups, we're offering, you know, it's holding space for people. I believe we've all been conned. That's what it comes down to now. Why certain people woke up and other people didn't is a bit of a puzzle. But then, from my perspective, I woke up on the health side of things, but I didn't really know much about anything else. But yeah, help me out here, Darren.
Well,
I was really struggling.
No, it's okay. It's a it's a big picture to try and understand, and we just asked questions about things that didn't make sense. And like I say, it wasn't just about what they asked us to do. It was the money. It goes to money. Oh God, it just there's a few different topics, and we believe it's about control. Wanting to control us, you know, getting rid of the cash. Is that to you more about control? Yeah, and look, we have an acceptance. We try as much as we can to have an acceptance of anybody's decision and wherever they are on their path of their decision making. It doesn't matter. I mean, most important thing to us, just like Sue was saying, we don't want to be divided. You know, with the people, we want to keep the people together. We've got people in our group that have chosen to have the or not. It doesn't matter.
No.
But we're just finding answers for things that doesn't make sense.
Trying to break down the barriers where it's so freeing to be able to talk, and yet I think people self-edit themselves as well. We don't think we can talk about this, and we've got to break through that. And so, I mean, our groups are growing too, aren't they, Darren? You know, and also, if there's these groups happening everywhere across the world, so people are really waking up. I hate that term, waking up, but we're realising more and more.
That we were a bit asleep before we feel, don't we?
We all were, but in different levels of awakening, depending on what's gone before in your life. And we're trying to sort of get to a point where we can open up conversations and drop the labels. You know, you know, this conspiracy theorists, right wing, all those kind of labels, which are designed to divide us, and yet they're so detrimental, these labels.
Yeah, and I think one of the big things to think about too is like where we get our information, and I'm afraid we don't trust mainstream media.
That's right.
And just when you ask questions, and I don't know if you've ever heard before, if you want to know the answers, just follow the money. And if you follow the money of who owns mainstream media, well, we don't want to say, we don't tell you, we're just welcoming you to ask questions and try and find out, because then you will find out who's controlling, who's pulling the strings.
And how many times have you heard, oh, where do you get your information from? Google, you know. Well, a lot of experts get their information from Google.
But who owns Google? Follow that.
Exactly. And I was in town the other week, last week, and we were talking, it was against the this disinformation bill, and some elderly gentleman came up and said, well, what do you mean about the truth and whose truth? And anyway, at one point he said, so are you from a group? Are you from a group? And I said, no, we're just concerned citizens. And he wanted to put us into, it felt like, he was trying to categorise us into a group, and then, oh, are you a part of a religious organisation? No, we're just people, and yeah.
It takes a while to understand, to understand the big picture, and you can go down a few what they call rabbit holes, and some of it's ugly, and you get shocked. You think, surely not, surely not. But look, question what we just say. Question everything. Question what we are saying. Just question everything.
Yeah.
Everything you see. I would estimate that where we get our information from, just go away from the mainstream media. There's a few. I would estimate 500 million people are in the same mindset as us.
Yeah. Yes.
And they're all saying the same thing. They all believe that the big picture is the same sort of thing.
And people, a lot of people in our group have said, we've all said it, why aren't people waking up? But it's been a really professional job that's been in the making for so long. It's understandable that people have, I feel I'm fortunate because I didn't watch TV for many, many years because I was triggered by the fear of the news. Everything was so frightening to me. I pulled away. But now I think I'm very lucky because, or that's why I've not been so taken in by the whole thing, because can you imagine they locked us down. We sat there in our lounge rooms. We weren't supposed to go out. Well, that is a perfect audience for people. As we can remember, the bulletins and everything about the deaths and everything else was 24/7. If you weren't, that's why I feel fortunate that that was part of why I didn't. I think I was a stubborn child as well, and so I questioned everything. I had to, if someone said the rule is this, you need to do it, I'd say why, and it depends on your personality, I suppose. It's how you because you get people in different families. This is what split families, which is so sad. And you think, well, how can kids that are brought up in one family have completely different ideas on this? We started with COVID. So I feel, and it's a slow process. I think everybody is waking up, and we wake up at different times. So it's very, very sad that people have been pulled in.
We don't mean to insult anybody.
No.
By saying waking up or are you asleep or whatever. We consider ourselves, we're asleep on a lot of issues, and a lot of issues on the way the world is really operating.
Yep.
Who really pulls the strings? Like I say, just follow the money. We're not happy with a lot of things the government do, of course, and that sort of thing. But anyway,
I've also heard people say, once they realised that, well, the government didn't tell you, they realised there was an untruth, let's put it that way. Some people go, well, if they've lied about that, what else are they not telling us about? It's there's so much coming out now that it's going to wake a lot of people up, but it might be a terribly scary place. And I think the idea that people know there are groups around and there's far more of us than the general people realise. We're still regarded as these fringe people or whatever. I think, but
yeah, but that's okay. That's we accept that, and we accept anybody to have a conversation with us. And if you don't, it's all good too. But we'll leave it there. But just question everything.
Yeah.
And question us if you want to unfollow me. That's okay too.
Yep.
But yeah, thank you, Sue, and yeah,
Thank you, Darren.
I've been so grateful to meet a lot of beautiful people over that.
Ditto. It's been made the world for me.
It really has. And as much as some of what we believe is the truth, what we found, how it's really, things are really operating, well, as much of it is ugly, some of it, I'd rather know the ugly truth
Absolutely.
than live a fanciful lie.
Yeah.
So if something is telling you deep inside, this ain't right, it probably isn't. And yeah, just ask questions. So we'll sign off there. And look, blue sky, beautiful day.
Beautiful, yeah.
See you later.
Okay, bye.